So in 1998, which was the 20th anniversary of the deaths in Jonestown, I was teaching at University of North Dakota, and it seemed clear that the same people were going to be interviewed for that 20th anniversary retrospective. The stories hadn't changed, even though there was a body of scholarly literature that had looked at People's Temple in particular, and also at mass deaths. For example, the Branch Davidians and Heaven's Gate had happened in the intervening years. And so I put up that site really as an alternative voice, in other words, as an alternative to the master narrative. Who had not been interviewed, whose story had not been told. Since that time, it's really changed quite a bit and developed, I think, basically in a good way. My husband, Fielding McGee, really manages day-to-day operations of that, putting up primary source documents, soliciting articles for the Jonestown Report, developing reflection pieces by survivors, and so on. One of the most surprising developments was the creation of a list of who died. There had never been any official list prepared by the U.S. government. There was a preliminary list that was published in a House committee report that came out in 1979, but there was no official list. And so we published an initial list online, and then in the early 2000s, Fielding and several survivors went through photos, records, everything that they could, People's Temple censuses, a list of those who lived in Jonestown, to come up with a complete list, to the best of our knowledge, of who died in Jonestown, and to add photographs and little biographical boxes to that list. And since we did that, the who died list is one of the most visited parts of the website, with relatives, friends, just kind of casual visitors, and so on. And the response is pretty amazing. Like, people have found long-lost relatives by identifying, because we'd say, well, so-and-so was the uncle of so-and-so. Oh, well, that's my cousin, and then others have said, have written us and said, this is the only picture I've ever seen of my grandfather. Or I always wondered who I was named after, and I see it was my aunt who died in Jonestown. So that part of the site was something we never anticipated to be as important as it has become. One final note, in terms of getting the materials, these websites don't just happen. There's like a wealth of information that has to be processed and uploaded. And that has been a struggle. Most of the government documents we've obtained through the Freedom of Information Act, and that is current. The documents are being uploaded all the time. Fielding, as I say, the kind of day-to-day manager, has been transcribing FBI PDFs so that they become searchable HTML docs. But right now we're in, I think it's year 16 of a lawsuit, a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the Department of Justice, kind of challenging a number of their exemptions. For example, Privacy Act claims on people who are dead, or on people who have given permission, and so on. And so it's an ongoing process of trying to identify the information, get the information, and then upload the information. So, as Fielding says, he foresees doing that, I don't know, till the day he dies, but for a long, long time.
Well,